All right, guys, just for those hopping on, I tried to share the link to Pool Peeps and Nick and Steve RIJON's Facebooks. I'm not the best with Facebook, so if you want to take a look and see if it's there, if it's done right, let me know, or you go ahead and try to share if you can. Guarantee there's a lot of people that would like to see this stuff. Um, this is actually their third set. Steve won the first two, 11-8, same score on both of them. Like I was saying on the last one, I jumped on at the last one, only commentated the last game or two. This is on the 9-footer, 10 ball, and this 9-footer is tough. It is not an easy table to play on. Pockets are pretty tight. So if you see missing or something like that, it's definitely not because of nerves or whatever else. This table is very unforgiving. So, but yeah, I mean Nick plays strong. I wouldn't doubt seeing Nick grab a set here and kind of level out the money a little bit on this. They're playing for 200 in the middle, so 100 a man. 10 must be last. So basically, there's no early 10s. An early 10 will count as a pocketed ball. So if you make the 10, you spot it and continue shooting. So the 10 has to be played at the final ball. Yeah, I think Steve got pretty fortunate there. I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but he left Nick in a pretty funny spot to be able to even play a safety back. Yeah, I don't know if I like this. I'd almost like kicking off this rail into the one with some speed. Yeah, because that way you're gonna leave a shot if you don't pocket that ball. Um, the other way you could, I mean, if you're playing the one to the other side, great. But the one could, if you play it to come off and come up this way, you're essentially playing it as a safety, as a kick safe. But he was in a tough spot either way. What a great shot! Kind of got unfortunate. I mean, use that ball to stop for the three. Pretty unfortunate. He left himself dead straight, but luckily he's only playing to the pink, so good control there. He doesn't have to drive too far back, but from the 4 to the 5's not the easiest. He's got to play around. Yeah, I was gonna say you don't want to hit that ball. These guys, I can tell you, are very, very tough to commentate for because both these guys shoot fast, and it makes it hard to discuss what they might be doing coming up next because when you're mid statement, they're already shooting the ball. So, all right, giving Nick an opportunity here. This isn't easy. Pocketing the ball wasn't going to be difficult, but getting shaped to the 7, man, I'd almost just fire at the bank here. Yeah, good try. Well, Steve has option. If you've never played 10 ball before, if you legally hit your next object ball, but you don't pocket it where you call it, or you don't pocket what you're planning on pocketing, and you slop a ball in, your opponent has option. They can take the table from you and start shooting from where it's at, or if it doesn't lay favorably, they can give it right back and make you take the table that you've left behind. So that's one of those where Nick slopped that 7 ball in by double banking it, and Steve had the option, and of course he went for it because he had a wide open shot. I didn't see how the first matches began. I only seen how the last one ended. Like I said, they're both 11-8. Um, but both guys were, missing some shots, and both guys were making really good, clean shots. Steve just had a couple good outs that finished off the match. But I'm assuming both these matches have probably been pretty close the whole way through. 3 races to 11, back to back to back. Man, that's a lot of pool. I mean, you can figure a race to 11 is probably going to take like 2 hours on average. Man, what a good break. One ball didn't lay out the best, but he can play safety or bank on it. Or he can just cut that damn ball in. Now he's playing to the pink ball, so this isn't completely bad here. Yeah, he's trying to dig in. Hit it funny, but Nick's definitely not loving this. He's going to try to get some cover behind that purple 5. Yeah, it leaked out. It was a good try. Hard to control the speed there. See how fast these guys are shooting, though? That's what I'm saying. It's hard to commentate. Pretty fortunate to leave. If catching the point coming back should have been a bad thing, but it didn't turn out too bad. The 9's in the natural path for the one royal escape, so he's going to have to try to spin down for this. Yeah, it's easy to overspin it, and he did. Yeah, I like to see Nick come 2 rails forward, leave himself some angle, and just come off the rail in this direction. You don't have to go too far. You just want to make sure you don't run into the 7 and get funny. Yeah, he might even be looking at playing this with a little draw and coming off this way. Even if he clips the 7, he'll be fine. I like going around him. I don't want to run into any of those balls, but I just put in a play safe. Yeah, didn't work out. I think he's in the window, and then the 3, of course, is set up. I don't blame him because he's going to have to leave himself a cut on the 4. And then 5 to the 6 isn't the easiest. The 7's kind of in a funny spot, but sometimes I have a hard time if I have an out. Oh, look at that. Safety worked out anyways. May have to play this back combo on the 9 ball. Leave that 6 ball to play on the top left. You try, as I say, you can try breaking it out here, but you're gonna have to swing at it. And I got pretty fortunate. Well, I don't think the 7 passes the 8, so he'll probably want to leave an angle so that he can come off between the 8-10. Yeah, it's not the angle you'd want for that. You don't want to try to force the cue ball all the way around table, but this is kind of in a funny spot. He might have to force it. Yeah, he's winding up here. And right in the drink. Yeah, I mean, just like an inch off on his shape coming off this in rail, and it could have came off this direction is where he was trying. Had a good speed and everything for it, but he just caught that natural, or that perfect angle, I should say. All right. Yeah, he's got to make a decision whether he's going 2 rails out or 1 rail between the 9-10. Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to go the 1 rail between the 9-10, you really need to juice it and come off and use this rail and come back out because you don't want to run into the 10. You don't want to try to just come 1 rail off and come float down because this can happen. So, but he's got a shot. Really surprised he didn't try cutting that ball. All right, so he's got a chance to go up 2-0 here. For anyone listening, there's a Scotch triples next month. BK's putting on out of the Black Diamonds. It's February 14th and 15th as Steve misses the 10 ball. Giving Nick a chance. It's a tough shot, but it's like the spot shot on the opposite end of the table. It's a Scotch triples, 1750 cap played on all the 7-footers at the Black Diamond. If you're like a 590 and under, I know that myself and another guy were looking for a partner. Not sure I'm going to play it yet, but if I am, then it'd be nice to have some ideas of who I can play with. 32 teams. Only have 1 player over 600. Yeah, Steve gets the win. He's up 2-0. It is handicapped. Each team is going to be giving up 1 point to the teams for every 75 points higher they are. Max of 3 games are going to be given away, though. So there's added money, long races, 11 and 9. So 11 on the A side, 9 on the B side. As any tournament goes, time's always a factor. So those could change at some point, the races. But typically, you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. It's not going to shorten to an extreme amount. Played this a couple times. I think actually myself and Joe Caluza and Jaime Lechuga won this one a couple years ago. Maybe it was last year. I don't remember. Time kind of all blurs together. Steve really crushes the break on this table, but he hasn't really leaving himself a good clean shot on the 1 to be able to have like a table run. But having a shot on the 1 just to be able to maintain control is huge. So he's not having to push. Anytime you have to push, that's kind of taking your advantage away in the rack. If you're out there watching, let me know who you're rooting for here. I think most of us are probably rooting for the younger brother to whoop up on the older brother, but especially this set, looks like it's been a struggle the first couple sets. Yeah, boss, you might be right. I know. I don't think I played it last year. Joe Caluza and I have played in 4 or 5 Scotch events together, and we've typically done well. We've had a few different partners We've played with Jaime a couple times. Um, yeah, they all kind of blur together. It's fun though. If you've never played a triple scotch, Legacy's had them before. Um, BK and them have put them on. Tri Cities at Players, they run some that are really good. They're fun. Typically, decent chunk of money in them. It's a good time. Spokane's pretty lucky. I mean, the Northwest has a lot of pool tournaments that go on, and nowadays, I mean, things are pretty good nowadays with tournament directors. I mean, there's a stretch of time where you just it's hard to find good tournaments, and when we do find good tournaments, it's hard to find good, well ran tournaments. But Spokane's been pretty lucky. Steve RIJON and his team from the seventh rail to Legacy once it got open, they run great tournaments. Um, Same with BK. Um, any of the tournaments they ran there, or the Black Diamond with the Spokane Open, and then some of the other tournaments they run a tournament where it's 9 ball on the 9-footers, 8 on the 8-footers. It's fun. Um, but the biggie is just a lot of really well ran tournaments, a lot of choices here, and then even on the west side, I mean, Secret, she's been running some pretty good, strong tournaments, and most of her tournaments, all her tournaments are um, ran really well. Got to pay attention to it though, because there's a lot of people out there that are they're jumping in trying to run tournaments, and they're not really doing it with the right mindset, and sometimes it's more about what they can get out of it versus what they can do for others. So we're pretty lucky here in Spokane to have a couple people that are doing some good stuff. Yeah, boss, it's Nick probably. I mean, if you just take Fargo alone, he probably needs um in a race to 11. Probably. I mean, I can pull up the Fargo fair match for it just to see what Fargo says he needs. But yeah, a couple games to stay competitive. Steve has a pretty high gear, uh, but I mean, that's what Fargo's about, right? That's one of the things is I've seen Nick play super strong, and I know he can put together good sets, and I know he can beat Steve. It's just the consistency, right? That's why Steve's probably higher rated. By 50 plus points is he's probably more consistent on getting out, and Nick's fully capable, but that consistency comes in, and through longer sets is where that consistency typically really shows. So, yeah, I mean, but when it comes to gambling, I'm not real big on giving weight or giving games, or even taking them when I'm the dog in a match. I I'm kind of old school like that. I'd rather just play it heads up, and you either take my money or you don't. It was a good shot. Definitely probably wasn't playing shape to the side, but as long as he wasn't laid up on the 5, he's going to be in pretty decent shape. All right, so let me just run this real quick. A 606 versus a 553. In a race to 11, a hot race is 3 games, a medium race is 2 games, and a mild, so just a small handicap would be 1 game. So, yeah, a hot race would be giving Nick 3 games. It'd be 11-8. So, if this was a hot race match, then Nick would have won those 2 sets when he got to 8. Um, However, one notch down, the standard for gambling and stuff is a medium race, and Nick would still have to get one more game to get to 9. But like I said, I'm a lot like these guys. I typically lean towards wanting to play things heads up. Takes heart for these guys to play, especially with rating systems nowadays, where you can look and see that somebody's higher rated than you. Um, Boy, both these guys are missing this 7 ball. It's the old little adage that some people do anything to get shape, they'll even miss. All right. There it was muted again. Yeah, I'd like to see Nick just play that to play short side on the 9 instead of trying to get to the top side. Just seemed pretty natural to just float that in with a little bit of left hand English and come short side, play the 9 up to the top right. But he missed, and Steve got out, took a 3-0 lead. This could be starting to wear on Nick too. I mean, you're 3 sets in, and you're in your third set, and it's been 4 or 5 hours, and you lost the first 2 sets. So sometimes it can be frustrating, and you start forcing things, or you start missing balls you shouldn't miss. Just you're not in the best mindset. Not that he's like upset or anything, but just probably a little frustrated that there's some outs that he's missed, and he knows that he shouldn't have missed. So, oh man, Steve dry breaks and gets the lucky little roll of the cue ball right there at the end to freeze Nick out from having an open shot. So Nick's going to probably have to start with a safe here or a rollout. Yeah, in our areas especially, most of the Fargo is rated around 7 foot tables. And there are definitely players that you can tell a drastic difference between their level of play on a 7 footer versus a 9 footer. I know there was, because I don't ever play on 9 footers. There's some conversation I was having with somebody within the last week or two about another player in the Spokane area that, or at least in the like Spokane, Idaho, kind of this whole area. That was a great safety. Man, he took most of the kicking lanes away. He's gonna have to kick 2 rails at this, just like that. But he's he's a higher Fargo than me by 20 or 30 points or so. And when we've played on the 7 footers, for the most part, um, I've kind of just put the boots to him. Steve just missed with ball in hand there, shooting fast. But at the same time, when we've played on the 9 footers, that same guy has put the boots to me. So he plays a lot on the 9 footers. I don't. And, the 7 footers, I kind of have the advantage. And then on the 9 footers, he has the advantage. So, giving up ball in hand. Yeah, you can tell these guys are starting to get a little careless here, nearing the end of their sets for the night. Yeah, he's just going to lock him up. That's a good shot. Oh, Steve just drills it. What a great kick shot. Took the time and measured it out and everything. He should do that more often. Yeah, same shooter. And in all fairness, he's shooting into a blind pocket, and those aren't the easiest to play back cuts on. But yeah, Nick's gonna have to jack up here. He'd rather have been off the rail a little bit just to draw back a little bit. Luckily, the side pockets still play pretty wide on the 9-footers as well. He's got a lot of options for shape, but he needs to make a decision. I mean, he can play this with some outside. Come 2 rails. Whoa. Come back up this direction. Yeah, I was gonna say, or he can don't scratch. Oh no. Let's say, or he can play to the side pocket, or even play to the combo. The 8-10 combo probably wasn't too bad. Whatever was natural there, but yeah, he's playing to that side pocket. Yep, Steve should be taking a 4-0 lead here. It's going to be tough for Nick to come back in this match. It's a long race, but take a look in the top left. Look at the sponsors. All these people are sponsoring, helping sponsor the stream and everything to be able to start these kind of series events and stuff. So, and I haven't talked to Steve about it, but if you want to get some kind of money matches set up or something, you want to be a part of it and try to get something set up, but you don't know who to talk to or who to try to play or anything, then hit up Steve. Let him know you want to play and what your skill level is, and see if he knows anybody else that'd be willing to play, and they could probably get you in contact with somebody and set something up. Is this in the window? It'd be crazy if it is. No, he's gonna have to mess it or jump it. Yeah, he jumped it. That's a legal hit. Yeah. I like to see Nick load up with a little bit of right hand English or a lot of right hand English. You're cutting this ball, but you can get it to come off and spin this direction. Oh, yeah. He's just going to come down here. Yeah, that's probably smarter, anyways, playing into a bigger area. Once he moved, the 2 ball's not too hard to cut from there. So, playing to the pink. He must play past the 10. Maybe not. He's taking another look at it. Yeah, he played past it. He actually overcut that ball. Shape was an issue. Yeah, you want to draw back a little bit more so he's not on the wrong side of this, but shouldn't be too difficult here. Just check with a little inside. Yeah, pretty good shot. I think he's got the angle just to draw and stay back on the right side of the table. So taking a 5-0 lead here. It's not looking good. Oh, wow. He tried to find the angle to scratch. Well, guys, I hate to leave you in silence, but I have to jump off. I'll try to get on some of the next streams a little earlier and commentate a little sooner if we have any. Maybe get Chris or Steve or some of these guys in some of them. Maybe Steve if he's not actually in the match. Till next time, see ya.